Facebook, wherever you are in the world. This is Ask Angelika, episode 26, with Angelika and Stephen. Good afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Hello, everybody.
How's your voice?
I have a bit of a sore throat, and I just heard an echo. I hope that won't go through the whole show.
No, I haven't. I don't hear an echo. That's just, you're okay. We are clear on sound. And this is Ask Angelika, episode 26. And today's topic, well, do you want to talk about today's topic? And then we'll
yeah, slightly different. Well, I probably need to tell you about my blog post from Monday, which is called 5 Ways for German Learners to Read Kafka. And I came across, by pure coincidence, several websites where you can download. My blog posts are aimed at beginners or intermediate learners. So, and you know, the idea is you read children's books or some website with children's videos and things like this, which is perfect for beginners, but not everybody wants to read a children's book. And even intermediate sometimes have got different interests. So I thought, well, let's write a blog post about a challenging book. And when I was thinking about what we could talk about, I thought first, shall we talk about the book? No. I did a bit of research about Kafka, and I found a few interesting sentences and a few numbers just for you about him. And the first one, I have to say, although I've heard of the book and that, I don't really or didn't really know anything about Kafka. So the first thing I found out, which is your first sentence, surprised me a little bit myself.
Right. For anyone who's new to the show, and if you're watching the replay, what happens is that Angelika chooses German phrases, and my job is twofold. One is to actually say them, which is sometimes fun, and the second is to try and translate them. So our first phrase today, okay, I've got to try and read. All right, so this is phrase 1. Franz Kafka wurde am 3. Juni 1883 in Prague geboren. How's the pronunciation on that?
Apart from one word, absolutely perfect.
Okay, and we'll say hello to Stephen.
Hello, Stephen.
Right, let's bring the phrase back up on the screen. You want me to guess the word? Wurde?
No. Franz Kafka wurde am Juni 1883 in Prague geboren was all correct, but you basically said he was born on 3 June.
Sorry, am dritten.
Am 3. Juni, that little dot, which is really confusing when you use it on a document on the computer, because the computer automatically assumes after the dot comes the full stop. Full stop, which of course in this case it does, because we have Juni there. So it is, wurde am 3. Juni, I've forgotten the year now, 1883 in Prague geboren. So right. There's your pronunciation, yeah.
Okay, so let's now translate that into English, or my version of English. Franz Kafka, that's easy enough. Prague, that's easy enough. The date, a month, year are all good. So geboren, I'm going to say born. So Franz Kafka was born on June 3rd, 1883 in Prague.
Yeah.
And there
which
we have
actually
it.
Makes him not a German. I assumed he was German.
So
that's how ignorant I was. I nearly did a blog post about a German writer, and when I looked, I thought, oh no, he wasn't born in Germany.
He was a Czech writing in German.
But he was writing in German, exactly.
All right, okay. Now you put this one especially for me. Stephen, try this with me. This is phrase number 2. Sorry?
It's quite small print, so I hope it's readable.
I've got it here in big. So, war das erste Kind von Hermann Kafka, 1852 bis 1931, und seiner Frau Julie, geboren, Löwy, 1856 bis 1934. Right, so Mark's pronunciation first.
Ooh, 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, we're doing well, Stephen.
You slightly mispronounced one word, but that's understandable because it's an abbreviation. It just says GEB and then the dot, and you almost guessed it right, but it's geboren.
Ah, right. Right, he was, and Stephen's heading to this because he's saying he was the first child of the Kafkas.
Exactly.
Right. So let's go back to the phrase then. And the phrase, right, okay, breaking it down. He was the first child of Hermann Kafka, who lived 1852 to 1931, and his wife, Julie, who was born in Löwy and lived from 1856 to 1934.
Not quite. That's
okay.
That's a maiden name.
Ah, right. See, natural mistake to make. Natural mistake.
Yes.
I'm pleading the fifth on this one. So, when you say geboren, it means the GEB dot. Can you just go through that bit again?
Yes, geboren. That's where in English we have this really weird word as well, isn't it? The knee or whatever it is in English.
N-E-W, yeah. Any circumflex E.
Yeah, very English word.
Well, no, it's French.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A very English word, isn't it? So, in German, it's geborener if it was a man, or geboren if it's a woman. But usually, it just gets shortened to the GEB plus a dot, and the Germans automatically say the right word. At least I hope they all do.
Well, I'm learning. I remember that now.
Because we have so little space, I didn't really want to spell it out as well, because that would have made the sentence even smaller.
And I learned to John, it wouldn't have fit.
No.
I've made a holics of this. Can everybody, if you can just help confirm this, can you see phrase 2 on the screen at the moment?
This is a German sentence still. Yeah, that's still there. Okay,
and then I'm bringing in the English version, and he was the first child of Hermann Kafka, 1852 1931, and his wife, Julie, nee Löwy, 1856 1934 is the translation. So, close.
That I haven't got on there yet. I've still got the German sentence there.
Oh, right, you've still got...
Yeah, I can still see the German sentence. I can't see the English one yet.
Let's try this then. Can you see that yes from Stephen?
All right, okay, well, as long as everybody else can see it.
No. Can you see yes from Stephen?
All right, yeah, I can see the yes from Stephen.
Very good. And now can you see the translation?
No.
And John saying me too. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I may inadvertently have broken this, but we're going to go with it. And we don't, well, let's see what happens. Right, okay, so phrase 3. Again, I'm going to try and say this in German. In der Familie wurde, deutsch gesprochen mit Bediensteten, aber zumeist tschechisch. Right, what I'm going to do is this. If for a moment you can talk about the blog, I'm going to refresh and come back. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So, a short intersection. This is the advert bit. You go to Project Gutenberg and download it there for free. And you can download it as an ebook or as a Kindle, which means you can then read it on your Kindle. You can also download it from Amazon, but if you do download it from Amazon, check that you actually download the free version. Die Verwandlung is not copyrighted anymore, and you can get it for free, but there are some versions on Amazon where you have to pay. Of course, if you buy a printed copy, you would need to pay.
Indeed. Can you see me?
I can see you. I still
Good.
have the same sentence on there, though.
Right. How about, can you see that sentence?
No. It's still the sentence, war das erste Kind.
What can we do about this? Right. Okay. This is interesting. I've broken the agenda.
Oh, no.
I wish there was a button I could press. You can still see us, hopefully, if you're watching. Can you just say you can hear us?
He's still the first child. Well, he would have stayed the first child anyway, John.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
Can we get rid of that phrase and then just do
No,
without the phrase?
what I can do, hopefully, is this. Okay. Let's improvise. And I'm going to try putting phrase 3 on in this way. Can you see that?
I can't see anything yet.
Can anybody see phrase 3? Right. Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen can see and hear us both. And what I'm hoping is that this phrase will show on the screen. Stephen, can you? Okay. Stephen, this is fun. Can you see your own comment on the screen? Can you? And John?
No.
Clarification from John.
I knew that, John. I knew it. He meant the sentence.
Oh, you could see that.
No, the first one. It's still the same sentence there. Nothing
But
else.
How can you see? Can you see? I meant that was what?
Yeah, that I can see now.
Oh, good. Right. Okay.
I can see John's comment, but I couldn't see the phrase that you've put on there.
Can you see a phrase now?
Or is it hidden behind my phrases? Hang on 2 seconds. No, it's not. No.
Can anybody see phrase 3 on the screen, please? This is going to be, we're going to edit this, I'm sure we will, before it gets to YouTube. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to assume that's just...
Yeah, no.
Right, okay, so you can just see he was the first child.
That's the original sentence, which is still there.
Right, I don't know how to actually do this. Okay, you have to imagine what I'm reading at the moment then. And in der Familie wurde Deutsch gesprochen mit mehr Bediensteten, aber zumeist tschechisch.
The first part was perfect. In der Familie wurde Deutsch gesprochen. Mit Bediensteten, aber zumeist tschechisch.
Right, okay. In the family, Deutsch was spoken, but Bediensteten, I have no idea.
Servants. It's not something we have nowadays, so you wouldn't. Why would you need to know that word? We don't have Bediensteten.
Right. Okay. And the translation of that is German was spoken in the family, but with servants it was mostly Czech.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. If you could see this, you would know that it says besuchte ein deutschsprachiges Gymnasium.
Well said. Yeah, besuchte ein deutschsprachiges Gymnasium.
Okay. Yeah, mostly you're quite right, Stephen. I can show that on the screen to show that we're making progress. In fact, it is a different show, Alfredo. This is, well, I can't, that won't show on the screen, will it? Ask Angelika episode 26. Okay.
It's a German lesson for Stephen and anybody else.
Actually, what we could, no, let's just bat on. So press for Herr besuchte sein deutschsprachiges Gymnasium. Okay, he went, right, okay. No, that's what I would have said, Stephen. Besuchte. He sought a German-speaking school.
No, the problem there is that in English we would saying I go to, or he went to school. The English translation actually is he went to a German-speaking grammar school, But in German, we actually say he visited a German-speaking grammar school. But it's not as in he visited because he just went to have a look around. Oh, I like this school, I'll take this one.
Right, okay.
That makes it difficult to translate then.
It does. All right, soldiering on, phrase 5, and again, numbers here. 1901 machte sein Abitur und begann ein Jurastudium.
Almost, except he couldn't have done that in 1801 because he wasn't born until 1883.
1901.
1901, ja. Machte sein Abitur und begann ein Jurastudium.
Right, can you work that out from my garbled version, Stephen? 1901 machte sein Abitur und begann ein Jurastudium. Okay, well let's break it down. 1901, he sein Abitur. No idea. Sein Abitur?
Well, machte sein Abitur. Sein Abitur machen is to graduate from high school, or as we say in English, to do his A-levels. Or he did his A-levels. Or he passed his A-levels.
Yeah. Und begann ein Jurastudium. Now, Jura I know from my Latin days. This is going back a bit, John. From my Latin days is law. So I'm going to say he began to study law.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Latin. Those years of learning Latin was not misspent. Because the answer is in 1901 he graduated from high school and began studying law. Right, phrase number 6. Another day. 1911 schrieb die Verwandlung.
Yeah,
so,
that is the book that I was writing about in the blog post. So 1911 schrieb die Verwandlung.
Yeah, and just going back to the last question, Stephen's saying visited is equal to attended in that
It's attended, yes, it is.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. And he qualified, so yeah. So 1911 schrieb die Wanderung.
Verwandlung.
Sorry?
Die Verwandlung.
Die Verwandlung, thank you. So I'm going to say in 1911 he wrote a book. What's the title of the book?
Well, the English title of the book is The Metamorphosis. If I just for fun, I put Verwandlung in the dictionary, and that came out as the as transformation.
Right.
So okay. If you use Google Translate probably would have come out with, in 1911 he wrote The Transformation, and you probably wouldn't find that book in English, because in English it's called The Metamorphosis.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now, next sentence is Kafka starb am dritten. See, I did learn. 3. Juni 1924.
Yeah, well done.
So Kafka on the 3rd of June 1920 died on the 3rd of June 1924.
That's it. Yeah.
So he was, because we know when he was born. He was born in 1883, so he was young, wasn't he? Really, he was only 41.
Yeah,
right.
He was ill. I can't remember what he had. I think it was something with the lungs or whatever. So he died very young. There's lots more to research about him, but that would have given us too many huge sentences, which we wouldn't be able to put on the screen anyway today.
Well, no, we wouldn't. Not only would they not fit on the screen, they wouldn't have been shown on the screen.
No, exactly.
Right, these things are sent to trials, all of which brings us back to the blog post, 5 ways for German learners to read Kafka, and I will post that after the show finishes, and Angelika and I by the cup of tea. So, Angelika, would you like to sign us out on this wonderful 26th episode of Ask Angelika?
Well, yes, it's been an experience, hasn't it, to read the sentences without being able to read them. I'm very grateful I kept my copy on the screen, which I nearly deleted. And I hope I see everybody back in 2 weeks' time when you will be able to read the sentences yourself of whatever topic we'll be talking about then.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put the sentences. If you send me your copy, then I can put the sentences at the top of the post. So anybody watching the replay won't have as much fun as everybody who's been watching us, but at least know what we're talking about.
We'll do
that. This has probably been one of the funnest episodes, but not for the right reasons, unfortunately. As Angelika said,
German learning isn't fun.
Indeed. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Take care, everybody. Enjoy learning German. Check out the blog post. I'll put a link to that afterwards. This has been Angelika Davey and Stephen Healey on Ask Angelika, episode 24. Having fun. Take care. 26. Bye for now.
Episode 26.
26. 26. 26.
Yes.
26. Remember that number. I won't forget it. I'll see you later.